And we are live.
You know what I'd really love? I'd really love like a ramen shop around here. Wouldn't that be nice?
That would
Like
be.
like I know like we here in America we have these like stupid ramen noodles which are delicious, but like still, it's not like wouldn't it just be great to be like I'm gonna go downtown to get some ramen? Yeah,
Dude, that would be. I'm gonna turn down the music a little bit. So,
is the music loud?
just to prevent copyright and to just in case it does is
Oh
too
yeah,
loud. Because most video
fair
games
enough.
have too much. They are too loud. But
I've can I about things being loud? You know what I've always hated
yeah, what about it?
in movies? Like the dialogue is like so quiet, but then all like the action happening around it is so loud. So like if you're trying to watch a movie and it's kind of late at night, well the only thing you really need to hear is the dialogue, right? But it's the quietest part.
Oh, Gabe messaged me.
Oh, we did.
Dude, hold on. This podcast might shift gears in a second.
Okay.
Yes, I can spare a few minutes, but that's all. No.
Oh.
If
Oh no,
you're
that's not.
on, you're
If you
committing.
if you're on, it's a commitment. This podcast,
Yeah. Wait, which he should be committing to already.
obviously, as a reoccurring guest.
Yeah. That we didn't give we didn't give him much of a choice, but does that even matter?
No, we didn't. I was thinking about commissioning that artist again to get me another bear character, but like for my other channel, like my D&D things, it would be like me in a hood.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, he didn't do the greatest job on my first one. I mean, it's great art, but it's like I don't know. He took what I asked him to do, and then he like really furry-fied it.
Ah, I see.
Like you know what I mean? Yeah.
I
Well,
I've considered getting new art, maybe even a slight avatar change.
yeah.
I was thinking of
Well,
getting. What if I got like a raccoon and a bearskin hat?
a raccoon in a bearskin hat.
Yeah,
That'd be funny.
that would be.
I don't know. I kind of like the skeleton. It kind of suits you.
I do like the skeleton though. Yeah, I do really like
It's definitely got a very you feel to it.
it.
Actually, it's really funny because I remember when we were getting our characters, I was like, "What? I want to get like a teddy bear in a hat, sipping like a cup of coffee, just like looks like really done with your shit."
hmm
And uh, and I was like, "I had a really good idea for your character," and you're like, "Oh, I already know. It's gonna be a skeleton in a suit." And I was like, "No way. That's exactly what I was thinking you should be."
What was that actually? What you thought?
No, that's what happened, dude. You probably don't remember that, but I was just like, "Wow, we had the exact same idea." And then you
Oh,
were like, "And it's gonna be a purple suit," and I was like, "That's different."
I mean, I think the purple adds a little bit more color and poshness to the
That's
skeleton.
flavor to it.
Yeah, adds
My
flavor and
thing's my
style.
thing's I'm looking at my thing. It's got like a little pink glow to it. I have no idea where that glow's coming from.
It's probably
I don't
like
know what it looks like. He's looking at like a pink screen of something, but I don't know what that's supposed to be. It looks like like the neon sign outside a
mhm.
strip club, that kind of pink, just like flashing on his lights.
Yeah. I don't know. I've
It's weird,
considered getting maybe like a different artwork commissioned, but I
right?
kind of like what it is now, and I don't know how I would change it.
Yeah, it's got something simple to it. I wouldn't want to change mine, but I would want to like make like well like during Christmas I was like maybe I should get one. I should just change it to being white with a Santa hat and holding a present instead.
Yeah.
And holy crap, it's a skeleton. What the heck are you? Oh my god. Yeah, like, but I don't know. I do kind of like the whole like what's going on with my thing. I just so like you need to change it up sort of thing, you know?
Yeah. Maybe I'll like. I will probably get something like different for the next year, or not next year, next Christmas.
Yeah, that'd be like a cool thing, just to like have it different for like a little bit. What the heck are you fighting right now?
Oh,
Oh,
Ghost in a Boat.
that thing's the boss. That's huh. This game's got some weird enemies. Hmm. have you been actually watching the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial?
A little bit.
I've just seen it from I've seen clips on like Reddit and Twitter, and I've seen like whatever my sister's been watching, and it's obviously everything on Reddit is framed to make Johnny Depp look great.
Yeah.
Like, cause like I don't know, I think he's the lesser of two evils. Just watching it,
I think
but
a lot of
he's
people
not
have more good memories or like almost like parasocial connection to Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp. Well,
Yeah.
like obviously when you're watching someone in a movie like Pirates,
Yeah.
you're like, wow, Johnny Depp, he's Captain Jack Sparrow. You know, it's like how could he ever do anything wrong?
Yeah.
I can't
Oh,
even.
I get
What is
it.
Amber Heard in as far as movies go?
I didn't realize how low my health was. But yeah, it's like I think that there's a lot of like almost deniable um just or deniability going on with Depp in the part he probably did have in it. Cuz I mean like Depp is not the most like stable person.
No, I'm sure he's done a lot of drugs and is still doing a lot of drugs.
And yeah,
I'm like obviously.
yeah, he's never been known to be a very like mentally stable person.
No, like of course not.
And there's also just so much misinformation being like spread, especially online, about like the trial, and people don't realize like they think it's almost like an Amber Heard prosecution trial, and it's like no, this is a defamation trial. Like Depp is
And who's
accusing.
doing who? Is he's accusing her of that she defamed him?
Yeah, with like a publication that
That's
she
kind of hard to win as a celebrity,
that is
especially a celebrity that's your wife,
ex-wife.
ex-wife, or they're divorced. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like
But yeah,
not
there was
only is that just hard to win because burden of proof is on you for like, hey, they defamed me, and I am not worthy of such defamation. And then it's like Amber Heard then also countersued for $100 million.
like obviously if someone's gonna sue you saying you defamed me, you want to countersue.
Yeah,
Like I would do that. Yeah, I don't know, but I do remember when all this stuff, she accused him of beating her, and then it turned out that she was beating him. I remember
Yeah.
when that came out, and I was like, maybe like, I think that is definitely some grounds for defamation if you're saying you were an abuser,
oh yeah, definitely.
and I'm saying actually you were an abuser. Why would you defame me like this?
Yeah, like the it's definitely grounds that for like evidence, and that was used for the like to like basically be like, no, you cannot dismiss this trial, Amber Heard, like because you're an abuser. But
Right.
it doesn't win Johnny Depp the trial because she abused him. Like,
But isn't that what? But the fact that she accused him of abuse is what he's
Yeah.
saying was the defamation.
yeah,
And yeah, didn't he lose some roles because of it?
yeah. Disney canceled the contract
Disney
with him.
canceled him. Yeah, he was canceled because of it. I think that's definitely grounds for.
He was canceled from the Pirates, like series. It was a few days after she published her thing.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm guessing he was getting a little bit too expensive for their taste, and that, these contracts always have the morality clauses in them, and that basically just means
yeah.
because, like the whole cancel culture thing. It like sometimes you're like, but were you really canceled because you're a celebrity?
So-
You know what I mean? But that's what the big thing is. A lot of companies just bandwagon on like
Mhm.
the Twitter hate so they can get into the morality clauses in their contracts and cut ties before they should be able to.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a sleazy thing, but
So
that's really like yeah, what's up?
the at least what Disney said. This is from what I've heard. I'm not an expert. From what I heard, when Disney when they did cancel his contract a few years ago, they said that it wasn't on grounds of the abuse trials, but due to working with Depp being very difficult, where there were like days where he just wouldn't show up to set. And if you look at the latest movie they did with Disney, Pirates 5, his performance in that movie is very lackluster and pretty poor. None end.
Which one was Pirates 5?
Dead Men Tell No Tales. It
I
released
didn't mind him in that movie. That was a bad. I think he was.
It was a
I
bad
didn't
movie.
love that movie.
It
wasn't a good movie.
I
I liked
it.
a lot of the special effects in that movie. That there was kind of like that cool, the bad guys were always underwater thing going on.
Yeah. It was
Like, and that was
kind of
cool. But I don't think he was the worst part of the movie at all.
He wasn't the worst part, but he definitely had a weak performance in that movie.
Yeah, compared to his other movies.
But working from what I heard, like Disney basically said that Johnny Depp was very hard to work with, and basically a lot of days of filming were just canceled, and they had to hire someone to just stand outside Johnny Depp's house, and they would call like the producers like, "Hey, Johnny Depp is actually getting up out of bed this morning. Get ready to shoot."
That's funny.
And it's like working with someone. I can imagine that when you're like trying to produce a film that working something like that could be very difficult. And they basically said that was why they canceled with him, at least from what I heard. But
yeah, well, they shouldn't. I don't understand how they're able to do that. They can't just sever a contract.
When you look,
I mean, maybe if they're like he's literally not fulfilling his part, so he's really the one that kind of severed the contract.
Mm-hmm.
But I would think if you were as famous as Johnny Depp, they're trying to get money off these Pirates movies.
Yeah.
He basically shows up to work whenever he wants. Like, he's the most famous part of that movie. Because Orlando Bloom wasn't in it until, like, the last scene.
Yeah.
He made an appearance.
And then Elizabeth Turner's, I forget who plays Elizabeth Turner, but she wasn't in the movie.
Yeah.
They had to hire a new actress.
Yeah.
But
that was the bad part about the last couple movies, though, right? Because Orlando Bloom wasn't there, and the actor who played Elizabeth wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, they're basically just using Johnny Depp to try to get some more movies out of him.
Pretty much, I guess. But, yeah, but, like, when it was 2017 when he was going through his divorce with Amber Heard, I believe. And
Is it that long ago?
I believe so. I'm not sure. I don't have it pulled up. But it's like, I do remember thinking to myself at one point in time, like, realizing, like, okay, maybe, like, that during the time of the filming Pirates 5, like, Johnny Depp was going through, like, a lot of shit.
Yeah, I can imagine.
He was, especially if, like, the divorce was occurring during that time, like...
Yeah, like, she was throwing plates at his head or whatever.
Yeah, and it just makes you think, like, maybe it's a little bit understandable why he wasn't showing up to work every day.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't need to be there, and it's kind of just shit showing up. There's a thing down there.
What thing? Is it...
Whatever.
Yeah, did you see that at one point in the trial, one of Amber Heard's lawyers objected himself?
Yeah, I don't think that's that outlandish.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, obviously, I'm like, you know, we're not lawyers, so maybe there's a valid reason why you object to your own statement. Like, what is an objection if it's a jury trial means that the jury can't take any of your statement or your question to the thing?
So, I imagine that he just misworded one of his questions.
Yeah, and it just looked kind of silly. Or maybe he just didn't, he asked a bad question and he was like, oh, I don't want that to be used, so he objected to it himself.
I don't see it as being a common thing, but I can imagine that it's definitely not like that, you know, bewildering.
So I really don't. One of the things is like a lot of people online are like, look at how cool and collected Johnny Depp's being during this trial, and I was like, I think he's acting like a jackass. And like I get what they mean, like, oh, he's just like giving these like snarky answers, but like that's not what you do when you're on trial.
Mm-hmm.
You obfuscate.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
Like maybe because he's trying to win in like the court of public opinion, but he should be trying to win in the court.
Yeah.
But
This trial is. I'm just waiting for it to kind of end before drawing any, because it's like
it's been 14 days.
The only thing that matters is what the jury says at the end. Like,
is it a jury trial?
I think so. Yeah, I believe it is. I believe it is because I think I've remembered hearing them mention a jury.
Think about it. It's been 14 days. So that judge is being paid for 14 days to work on this, and the jury is being like in a hotel or whatever, however they do the jury stuff, for 14 days, and then like, think about all the money that goes into these trials. 14 days of this.
Yeah.
And this is just famous and being televised. Imagine how many nonsense trials there are around the United States that are just taking up money. It's crazy.
That's why they have like different level of courts.
Well, I know that's why they have different levels of courts, because this is a civil case, but that's not the point. The point is the judge probably makes a pretty similar amount of money either way.
Yeah.
So like it's the people getting paid their salary to do this, and they shouldn't be. This judge should not be getting paid. I wouldn't pay him.
They're a public servant, but they still need to make a living.
Yeah, I know that. Too bad. Sucks to suck.
Okay.
Shouldn't have worked for the man. Hey, speaking of the courts, we were just talking about Roe v. Wade, the whole thing that was happening there, and you were like, I'm totally uninterested.
All right, we could talk about it a little bit.
Well, I'm more interested in why you think that you were like I think that we should talk about something a little bit more interesting, like the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial.
Oh my god.
So what's up with that? Oh my god, I hate those things.
Woo. Yeah, they're annoying. So Roe v. Wade is like, if it was getting overturned, that is a big deal. But this is just a leaked document, which
it's maybe getting overturned.
Maybe it
or
gets
probably
overturned.
I mean.
But
it's
who knows?
It's Women's Health Alliance versus what's the guy's name? Maybe it was Wade. I feel like it was something with like a W. So that's the trial, and when Justice Alito, I think it was, someone leaked his draft of the decision, and his decision for this case would have overturned Roe v. Wade and PP v. Casey.
Yeah.
So but that is kind of a big deal, and it's also a big deal that it was leaked.
Yeah, the leaking is a big deal, but like this wouldn't matter if it wasn't, about like abortion. It wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm noticing a lot of people who are like, yeah, nobody would have cared about the leaking if it was about something else, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe more people would have cared about the leaking if it was about someone else. But funnily enough, I'm noticing that a lot of like the people that want Roe or PPV Casey to be overturned are like all upset that it was leaked in the first place.
Oh my god, there's so many trap chests in this dungeon.
Like everyone wants something to be upset about.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people are just looking for something to be upset about.
Yeah. So, people that don't want it to be overturned are upset that it might get overturned, and people that do want it to be overturned are upset about the leaking. Which, fair enough, but like, still, like, what's going on? What are you guys doing? It wasn't even really overturned yet.
And I mean, if it is overturned, it would just be on the decision for the states.
Well, there are some states where
it would be illegalized.
Well, not just that, but there are some states that it would be made illegal immediately because they have things that they call trigger laws, which basically means that they write a law, and the law says, in case Roe v. Wade and Planned Parenthood versus Casey is ever overturned, abortion banned immediately.
Yeah.
So there are some states that are like that, and that'll happen immediately. And if you want abortion to be legal in your state, then that's one of the things where literally Roe v. Wade is protecting abortion.
Yeah. Okay.
But I don't think our states have those laws, though. I mean,
Probably
our
not.
states has people think that it's gonna be restricted in some way if Roe v. Wade is overturned,
I doubt it though.
but it's not. It's not one of those immediate things that's gonna happen where we are.
I would be surprised if our state, like, overturned it. Cause like,
You mean if our state like banned abortion, you'd be surprised?
yeah, I would be.
I think they're probably gonna restrict it because I feel like there's gonna be some sort of
There,
compromise.
there would be a compromise, but to be outright restricted, nah.
Yeah.
I wonder what.
No, you're right. It would be something like no second or third trimester unless absolutely medically necessary.
Yeah, there would definitely be
That-
a compromise.
Right? You just let yourself get trapped.
Because it actually took me somewhere else in the dungeon.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because I was like kind of running around. It was like there wasn't anywhere to go. Ah, I fell down.
Yeah, you figured it out.
So I guess I have to use a trap chest. So, but
Yeah. Well, what were you saying?
oh, mine just got teleported somewhere new. I don't remember what I was saying.
Neither do I.
Just like I don't know. It's just Roe v. Wade. We'll see where that's going.
I don't understand Roe v. Wade in the first place. I don't think I really get what was happening. Like, for a case about abortion to get brought in front of this. Like, I get it now because we have, like, the precedent of Roe v. Wade.
Yeah.
But, like, who is the first person to be like, I think that this is, like, for the Supreme Court? It doesn't make much sense.
That is true. It's like, why is this even federal law?
I'm sure Joe knows exactly what's up. I feel like Joe was explaining something to me like this before. Oh, you know what Joe said, actually?
Joe has mentioned stuff at work the past 2 days, but mainly it's about
it a lot.
He talks about how like most states apparently don't want this.
Don't want it to be overturned?
No, or don't want abortion to be legal.
Yeah. Well, yeah, most states don't. Or a plurality of states it would be banned. And then but a majority of states it would be legal in some way.
I think so, yeah, cuz as opposed
but there's also like a little bit of a spectrum, yeah, cuz there's totally illegal. Well, there are no cases where there would be no medical exceptions.
Mm-hmm.
But there are cases like there's basically totally illegal, and then there's heavily restricted, and then there's lightly restricted, and then there's easy access. You know what I mean? So those would basically be like the categories of these states were like separated into. I think I thought something like this guy at one point.
Oh, I messed up right there.
Yeah, so I think it's kind of unfair to say like most states don't want abortion to be legal. It's that most states lean on the more restriction, which I think is fair.
Yeah.
But I think what Joe was telling me was that I'm trying to remember how there was a convention of states to get abortion rights actually added to the Constitution, like as an outright amendment.
Mm-hmm.
But that failed. So instead, they decided to bring it to the Supreme Court to see if they could basically interpret. What was it? It would be Fourth Amendment, the right to privacy, mixed with like the 13th, maybe. One of the 13th amendments to get this new law which says, yeah, abortion is pretty much legal all the time.
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of shady in the first place, but whatever. I'm not too
I'm not
worried
too
about it.
concerned. Yeah,
Yeah, me neither. It's
it doesn't affect me.
it. Yeah, you're like the inverse of like some people are like men can't have opinions on this, and you're like I don't want an opinion because I'm a man. I don't care. You're the kind of guy that's like abortion is legal or illegal. I don't care, but it should be totally legal for me to abandon my child. Not saying I'm gonna do it, but like it seems like a fair equivalent.
Yeah.
You kill it, I abandon it. Fair trade.
It's the same thing at the end of the day.
It is the same thing for that thing. I love I was reading a comment, someone was like it was a meme, and the person that made the meme, like they understood it was a bit of a straw man,
Hmm.
but they were like thought it was funny anyway, and someone was like, I don't want abortion because I'm pro-life, and the next person was like, you're right, so then we should also provide food and shelter and a safekeeping for the child after it's born because it's alive. And then the person's like, ew, no, that's communism. And then I was like, in the comments, I was like, actively killing something and letting it slowly die are two very different things.
I guess,
Because
yeah.
yeah, like I'm a firm believer in the idea that you can't kill a baby, but if you see it on the side of the road dying, you're no way legally obligated to help it in any sort of way. In fact, you can just sit there watching it. If you felt like it, I'm not saying I would, but I'm just saying I should have the
Yeah.
option.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm against hunting, but I think it's a perfectly reasonable pastime to go out to the woods in the winter and watch all the deer starve to death.
Or just shoot the deer and let it bleed out.
Oh my god, that's horrible. Actually, I heard
That
this
is
story.
horrible.
It is horrible to shoot the deer and just like let it, or shoot it in like a non-lethal place immediately and let it suffer.
Yeah.
That's kind of a rough thing. There's this story. There's this hunting story. My dad and his brothers and some other people were going hunting,
Mhm.
and one of the guys shot a deer right before nightfall,
Mhm.
and then it kind of ran off, and he couldn't find it, so he decided to go track because it was getting dark.
Yeah.
He was like, I'll go track it the next morning. Like, obviously, you know what I mean? But they go the next morning and they track the deer down and they find it. The bullet went straight through its spine, so the deer was totally paralyzed and the legs down, and it had been sitting there all night in total agony, just
Jesus Christ.
completely paralyzed. Yeah, I know, right? And that's why it's important to take a lethal shot. Yeah, it's a horrible thing. You know what I mean? But I don't know why I keep saying you know what I mean. You know what I
So
mean?
wait. Okay then. Wait, I lived.
You did live.
How did I live?
What?
Oh. Okay, never mind.
What?
I just got wrecked. I died.
Yeah. I have those things are weird.
Yeah, the catacombs are probably one of the less well designed parts of this game.
These are complex life questions, man. A lot of people, because of all this, are talking about secession again.
Oh,
Okay?
secession from like
Secession from the Union. Like, balkanization of the United States. Yeah, there's like, it's so weird
shit.
that,
There's
like,
nowhere to go.
abortion is the thing that finally made everyone decide that this whole country thing was a bad idea. Like, I've been saying this for years, but, like, to each their own. Like, I was like, maybe we shouldn't be a country. We kind of suck at this.
Oh, I hate
Stupid
those
toad
frogs.
things. I know. Stupid toad things.
So the problem is, have you encountered Death Blight before?
I don't think so.
If that bar fills up, it's an insta kill.
Oh, really? That kind of that's I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I mean, maybe that's like a just to make it more challenging as far as gameplay mechanics go. But like, there's a lot of things in Souls games that intentionally slow down the game, and I think that's fine if you want like a slow one-on-one combat sort of game, which is what Souls games for the most part are, or they're 1-on-2 usually most of the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, is there someone riding those things?
I don't even know.
Like, there's someone with an axe on top of that thing. Is that a tree sentinel?
No.
Oh my god. Yeah. So there's like, I feel like sometimes they go overboard with it though. Like, there's plenty of ways to make a game hard without slowing it to a halt and like waiting for you to die.
It's not waiting for you to die.
It kind of is.
I
Well,
mean,
not. It can be. Sometimes. Like, I get that. There's like a lot of these games, Elden Ring, other Souls games, it's very well adjusted difficulty wise. Like, it's a hard game,
yeah.
but it's always possible.
Yeah, it's more like demanding. It's like, hey, there's this challenge, overcome it.
And it's not just skills demanding too. It's like time demanding, because there's plenty of games that are like we played Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight's a hard game too. It's not necessarily Souls games hard, but it's way faster than Dark Souls is. It's like a different kind of challenge. They challenge you by like what's your split second reaction time. And Souls games tend to be more like, what's your, like, ooh, that was rough. What's your, what am I thinking?
I think,
you're fighting things one-on-one most of the time, so it's like, what's your
not
patience?
always.
Well, yeah, you're fighting groups right now, is what you're doing right now, but like, think about
There's a
bosses.
lot of boss fights that aren't one-on-one. There's more one-on-one fights in Hollow Knight than there is in Elden Ring.
Well, Hollow Knight's a platformer, so all boss fights are one-on-one, or most are. But Elden Ring, well, first of all, one-on-one fights in Elden Ring, they're like always like, yeah, there's someone riding those things. Huh.
Looks like it. It's like a statue.
Really just you're not like fighting them both at the same time though. You're like switching your attention between the two, which I guess to some extent all one-on-one boss fights are like that, but like Elden Ring especially, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You're fighting one guy and there also happens to be another guy taking shots at you. Yeah, but I like that, but since it's so finely tuned, the difficulty in these games, sometimes when things are just like slightly off, like sometimes things are a little too easy, like you think that your summon makes the game a little bit too easy, it gives you a bit of an out in some circumstances, right? Like, that's not a broken mechanic, it's like a mechanic that's not tuned properly.
Yeah. I agree.
And you think it makes it too easy, and then
I don't think it makes it too
maybe.
easy. I think it makes it easier, is what I said.
Yeah.
It gives you an advantage that's never been seen before in a Dark Souls game.
And it gives you an advantage that you think is a bit too much for it to get, like, because everything you get is an advantage, you know what I mean? Like, armor is an advantage and spells an advantage. But it gives you an advantage that is a little bit off from what you'd want in the game.
A big difference with past Elden Ring games or not past Souls games, is that they weren't open world. If you came across a boss, it was beat the boss.
Yeah.
Like, you just had to. There was no other, like, you had to get good.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Like every new boss you came across was
oh,
that's the boss before you get to the next one.
yeah.
Or that's like it's not like you maybe it's too hard, you go somewhere else.
Hmm. Yeah, and,
To
but,
be fair, that's how I play Elden Ring too. But
like, with Elden Ring, yeah, definitely, because you could just go somewhere else and get
I refuse to.
work and work towards other things.
Right. But yeah, but then there's also things like what were you talking about? Like that Death Blight thing, the insta kill.
Yeah.
That's a mechanic where it's not like a broken mechanic. You can work with it, but it's a little weird, like to how other meters work in the game. There's plenty of other like.
Not Crucible Knights. Okay. Like, even one Crucible Knight is just annoying as hell. They're one of the more controversial enemies of the game.
Yeah, I'm fighting one of them, and they're horrible.
They're normal enemies later.
You do so much more damage than I'm doing the one I'm fighting right now. Or I guess I actually technically accidentally left him and found the king or the guy with the axe guy with the arms.
Oh my
Forget his
god, the
name.
hyper armor on that. Okay.
Oh, is that your summon?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm in New Game Plus as well.
Oh, you did?
Yep. I beat this. So I've beaten this game twice. I went with, and I got.
You beat it twice already?
Yeah.
Dude,
I haven't got different endings.
I've beaten one boss so far. Or one story boss. You play it like a madman, though. You're always playing it.
I have, what, 90 hours? Oh, wrong thing. I'm probably just dead.
I can't play video games like that. So probably my favorite game is Doom, and I'm trying to beat the master levels right now, and with the master levels, like if you can beat them on all 8 difficulty variances, you get a golden shotgun. So that's like, easy, medium, hard, and then there's also like the super duper hard whatever mode.
Yeah.
And even that, like, I'm trying to beat one of these levels, and sometimes I just stop halfway through it. I pause the game, and I just go do something else. Because I just can't sit down and play a video game for, like, hours at a time.
Dude, see, like the other Crucible Knight is fucking up my summon.
Yeah. But your summons, I'm, like, wouldn't pretend that the summon's really there to do damage. He's there so you don't have to take damage from 2 guys at once. You also get hit more than anyone I've ever seen.
Oh my god.
I don't know how you keep... You guys have wings.
Jesus Christ! Okay, I've never really fought Crucible Knights before. I fought them in a one-on-one. I've never fought this fight before. And
This is
I
a new
always...
fight for you?
Yeah, I always just ran past them, because they're normal enemies. I have to, like...
Oh, and you, like...
Yeah. Because they're never worth the time to fight.
Yeah, well, it's so funny, because whenever you fight a new enemy, you always go back to what you do, which is dodge as soon as they start making their attack. But I've never met an enemy where the solution is, as soon as they make the attack, you dodge. It's always, they make their attack, you wait a half second, then you dodge.
Yeah, the
because
delayed
everything's
attacks...
super telegraphed in this game.
Yeah, there's a lot of delayed attacks in this game. Because delayed attacks can be more punishing than normal attacks.
And you'd think that there being so many delayed attacks, you get used to just expecting them, but it never happens. Every time you come across a new enemy, you have to learn which attacks are like super delayed, and which ones are moderately delayed, and which ones are only kind of delayed. This game is also, it's kind of slow with your moveset too. Like, it always feels like you're over telegraphing your attacks for no reason. Because like the enemies don't have to dodge. They're AIs. you very in the mode right now.
Yes, I am.
I think another thing might also be because I listen to podcasts when I play video games, which I think probably takes all my attention away from the video game.
There we go.
Holy crap! It had a tail.
See, after fighting them twice, their moves are like a lot easier to dodge. Oh, got a whole armor set and weapons. I can almost level up.
You know what I never got?
Yeah.
How it becomes more expensive in XP to level up in a game.
Mm-hmm.
But then they also make the later bosses drop more XP.
Yeah.
So what's the point? Like, why not just it costs the same XP to level up, but also the later bosses drop the same amount of XP?
Well, because...
Is it just so you feel like you're getting more of a reward while killing later enemies?
Not really. I think it's just to help, like, make leveling up earlier easier, but, like, later harder.
But it doesn't really that much. Maybe it does a little bit later on. But, like... Why? Just so, like... So if hard enemies, which you can fight later in the game, drop more XP...
Mm-hmm. Oh, I went
it
to the wrong one.
takes more XP to level up later in the game.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same.
I went to the very wrong.
Kind of averages out.
I don't think that's the right one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing.
One complaint I have with the game is, I wish that there was more, like, how do you put this? More bosses that were more required bosses to beat the game. Because there's only, like, a couple bosses that you actually need to beat the game. Most of them are optional.
Yeah, well, as it is with an open world game.
Yeah, but I wish for the main story there was, like, more, maybe more, like, mandatory fights.
And apparently you told me that I killed an NPC that I thought was a boss, but it turns out was just an NPC that was supposed to give me a quest.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I missed out on a boss fight because I killed that guy, yeah?
Actually, I think you did.
Right. But I also gained a boss fight because I killed him.
Did you get an item from him? Unless he dropped this item. Yeah, the Pureblood Knight's medal.
I don't think he did.
Or actually, I don't.
Oh, he might have.
That actually might not be the item. He drops an item that basically teleports you to like an area where one of. I can actually go to the area. It's this area right here. And there's a boss fight there. There's a really big boss fight there.
Yeah, I don't think I got that item. It's really unfortunate. It's weird. You'd think he would drop it.
Yeah, he gives it to you later.
I wasn't even listening to what that guy was saying, apparently, because you said that that's the No Maidens guy. I never heard that.
Yeah, when you first talk to him, he talks about...
I could have sworn he was challenging me to a fight when I first started talking to him.
I highly doubt that.
I'm like 90% sure that's what was happening. It's so weird when you said that he was just an NPC that was going to give you a quest. I was like, are you sure that guy wasn't actually actively challenging me to a fight? And it was also weird because once you attack him once, you can't, like, once you die, he just starts attacking you again.
Yeah, when you die, but you actively have to attack him a few times. And he warns you, like, are you sure you want to do this when you attack him?
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh. Huh. Yeah, that guy was annoying because he heals. And he heals a lot, actually. I don't know why he heals so much, but I feel like he healed more than I did.
I'm trying
and he has that stupid Rose chase you attack that you can't dodge?
Yeah.
You fight him?
He's no, I didn't, because he's very important. He's a very
Once you
important
have
NPC.
once you do his thing, you should fight him.
I don't know where he actually is in the world once you do his thing.
Oh. Yeah. That guy sucks.
And we're talking about Vare.
You know, I'm glad I killed
White
that guy.
Mask
That
Vare.
guy was an asshole.
Dude, he is. I'm trying to figure out how the fuck to get over there.
His weapon was roses.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Yeah, like that makes sense. This guy whipped out roses and started shooting blood magic at me.
Yeah, I don't know what his deal is. He's kind of just his own thing, I guess.
And I never get to talk to the NPCs that I actually like. By the way, I was fighting a thing, and I was like, I met a friendly NPC like Roger. He's in the castle, you know.
Yeah.
Roger the sorcerer, and I started fighting one of the guards, like one of the tough ones, and I was like, I'll just lead him back. I'll just lead him back to Ragier, and Ragier can help me fight him. And then nothing happened, and I was like, this world's NPC sucks. And I was in a place where I couldn't engage in combat, so this enemy was trying to attack me in the church, and I couldn't attack back, and Ragier was doing nothing.
That's an ouch.
Luckily, I managed to get him stuck on a chair, so I could just leave.
Oh, there's a thing down here. I don't think I've been to this room. Oh, okay, I know where this goes. Yeah, I really like the game though. It's great.
Yeah, there's a lot of great things about it. I feel like we're nitpicking when we complain about it like this, but
yeah, I mean, I think it's better to go almost over its shortcomings, because it's like there's so much good you could talk about. That's almost like a given.
I'll tell you what, I don't think there's, like, when you look at the world from afar, it looks really great, but once you get up close, it's kind of bland. Like, when you look at, like, the cityscape from afar, you're like, wow, this is so cool. And when you get right up next to things, you're like, it's not really cool anymore.
Oh.
So I don't exactly know how you fix that, but that's like, I've never been interested in anything that was close to me in this game. Like, as soon as you get into a castle, it's like, it's a castle. Whatever.
I think that's a little bit of a hot take.
You think so?
Yeah.
Also, something like, things look bigger from the outside in this game.
Then they feel
like
when you get in there.
Yeah.
I mean,
that
because
I feel like
not every room in every castle is going to be filled out. There's a relatively set path with a couple diversions that you can take.
Well, it's not necessarily like a big giant castle, but I'm talking about like the fortress castles that like literally are just 4 walls, and you're like, wow, that looks a little big, and you get in there, and it's like, not really, it's not big. I was like fighting some guys, and I got inside the castle, and I was like, this thing is tiny. And I don't even know what happened, because when I went back outside, I was like, no, that's a huge castle.
Yeah.
So, like, what's going on? Some sort of weird... Maybe the walls are just really thick.
Possibly.
That'd be kind of weird, though, if they just made the walls really thick for no reason. Like, just to confuse me.
Just to fuck with you.
Yeah, that is something in, like... Like, looking around, like, wow, you're like, it would take forever for me to run from this thing to that thing. And then you do, and it takes like 5 seconds. Maybe that's it. Maybe your character moves really fast.
Your character does move pretty fast in this game.
Which is weird, because I always felt like it moved kind of slow. Is your character just a little bit proportionally too big for the world? Is what I'm thinking.
I don't think so.
Like that's like I'm thinking how like if your character was like 8 feet tall, like if like you measured him up to what the height of a something usually should be, and your character turned out to be 8 feet tall, that would explain everything. That would be like
I could see them being tall, but not too tall.
you like I don't know, like I'm just trying to think because the world feels big from afar, but small when you get up close. So I'm thinking that it might just be that the characters are like a little too big, and everything just seems smaller when you get up to them.
Hmm.
That seems like kind of a reasonable explanation. Do you think that would make sense? Like if you make your character like drag the corner, make it a little bigger, it would just be it would just make everything else around you seem smaller. Yeah, like because like when you're a kid and when you're an adult, from afar, the boat looks the same size.
I don't
But
know.
when you're an adult, you get on the boat's a little bit smaller.
I've never thought to. I've never like had that thought or a feeling.
That's been messing with my mind for a while when playing this game. Because I feel like everything just gets so small when you get up to it.
Actually, I felt like the Halig tree felt a little bit small.
Which one was that?
Oh,
The big one?
you haven't. No, that's the Erd tree. You haven't seen the Halig tree, but
Is it the biggest? What's the Halig tree? Is it big?
oh yeah, I'll teleport there right now.
Yeah, well, I think
There
about
you
this
go.
all the
I
time playing this
teleported
game.
there in the game.
It's a big tree.
Yeah, and basically you go down and there's a giant fucking city down there, built
Oh,
into the roots in the side of the tree.
that's cool. Though it is kind of weird when the part that you're standing on doesn't seem that big, funnily enough.
Yeah, and like
Maybe that proves my theory. The tree is just small.
here,
Is that a snowman?
no, those are like they're weird. I don't even know their point in like place in the world. Uh,
Maybe it's just me. Maybe I just have a lot of thoughts like this.
you do. You tend to have like a lot of weird thoughts. One
You know
thing.
what else was my weird thought? My conspiracy theory on plastic lids. I feel like they're slowly making like sort of like shrinkflation. When the companies make the candy bars like slightly smaller every 5 years,
Ah, so this
and
is
like
like the city down at the bottom.
yeah, it's a city. That's a nice city actually.
But so actually, one complaint I do have about um this game is the amount of like it's not really a problem, but it is a problem I think of some capacity. It's the amount of like repeated boss or reskinned and repeated bosses in this game.
Yeah, you told me about this, and it does sound like a problem. Although I never really fought
Enough.
any of them. Yeah.
So there's 150-ish bosses in this game, which that
Yeah.
is incredible. Props to them for that. Like that is
Of course.
a feat in and of itself. But
Yeah.
when unfortunately when maybe 30 of them are actually unique, and because it's like when you fight like say your knight's cavalry for the 6th time or your third what's his name Margit, when you fight like Margit for the 3rd time, it's kind of like come on. Or like my 4th, I fought like ulcerated tree spirit 4 times, and it's kind of like okay, this is really starting to show the reskin problem, because it's like, and then it's like you really look down at it, it's like the only unique bosses are like the story bosses, and even then, like some of the great big bosses are reskinned for later, like with Margit and his brother Moog. Yeah, and it just gives like while there's just a lot of bosses, which is great. There's even more repeated bosses, and a lot of bosses are just normal enemies that are just put into a gank fight. And like that's just annoying almost. Now, yeah. Well, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I was really complaining like because when you clear out a castle in this game, like just like a regular fort, the enemies respawn,
That is not a problem.
and you were. I think it's a problem. I think nothing should respawn in this game.
What? Just kill off? Like all the challenge is gone, or half the challenge of the game.
No. Well, because the enemies are hard enough as it is. Because once you fight something, you really just run past it next time you see it. Because you're bored with it at that point. I was thinking, this world doesn't really. It has all these like weird apocalyptic elements in it, like all these broken buildings, these zombie knights or whatever.
They aren't zombies. There are some zombies in the game, but most of the people aren't zombies. Like this isn't Dark. A lot of them are just people.
And they all want to kill me for some reason?
Yeah. To be fair, you are an aggressor.
I'm not an aggressor. I was just walking down the street.
Okay, fair enough. If you were just walking, yeah, they aggressed onto you.
Yeah. But like, I feel like once you kill something, it should stay dead. You know how awesome I feel walking down the street, just like totally barren. I killed everything that was here before.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the bosses actually have that problem, but like doubled, because you kill an enemy and it respawns, whatever. But you kill a boss and you come back at it again later, you're like, you gotta be kidding me.
Bosses don't respawn.
No, they don't respawn, but you meet them again later, which is basically respawning.
Okay, fair enough. A lot of the reskin bosses, though, aren't, like, reused. Most of the reskinning is, like, of, say, like, stuff like Crucible Knights, or Ulcerated Tree Spirits, or, like, kind of like these tough generic enemies given boss health bars.
Yeah, and I get that, but it just makes the world feel like you have less consequence in it.
Yeah.
I love whenever the game gives you that feeling of like, sort of like Doom, like you play Doom and everyone's like, you're the Doom Slayer, everyone get down because you're gonna kill everything around you. I feel like this game should be like that, sort of like, if you kill an enemy, just dead.
That is not at all what they were going for, though.
They should have, though, is what I was saying.
I don't know.
I think enemies should just stay dead, really.
It would make the world feel very empty.
I feel like the world feels too full.
I've never heard that complaint about a video game, though.
This world feels too full. Too many people here.
I know you're a Skyrim fan, right?
Not really. I mean, I tried to play Skyrim, but I always quit whenever, like, I got like 3% into the game is when I quit.
Skyrim was way too full.
Yeah, there was like people everywhere. I have no idea what that was about.
There was a lot of everything everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, you would go 10 feet without seeing a thing. And there would just be a thing.
Yeah, there were too many dragons in Skyrim. Which, I like killing dragons and all, but, like, I shouldn't just be randomly attacked by a dragon when walking down the street. Like, there should be, like, 6 dragons in the game. And they all have their special mountains.
Yeah, but Skyrim was definitely a game that was way too full. This game, I think it has a nice, happy little middle ground where there's just enough to like entertain the player and to always be engaging.
so much stuff in this game, but none of it really feels that unique.
What do you mean by unique?
Like, I feel like I've seen it before,
Like, where would you have seen it before, though?
previously in the game.
Okay, there is a fair bit of reused assets.
But it's not just about reused assets. It's about like the same sort of setup. You know, you travel down the road, and then you see this dilapidated castle, and there's some zombie guards there, and you fight a couple of them, or they're regular people apparently, and you fight some of them, and then there's a stairway going down, and you go down, and there's a really easy boss fight, and then a really useless piece of loot behind it. And I've only been to like 3 areas of the map,
Okay.
and I've seen probably 12 of those.
Yes, crypts and dungeons are definitely very samey and very reused.
And then there's another one where it's like, oh, it's a castle, and let me go fight the guys. Oh, I fought the guys, and I get a very, very useless piece of loot.
So
And
yeah,
then there's like the makeshift camps, where you do the exact same thing.
those definitely, like, they get reused. I think From Software should work on their underground assets, maybe like their dungeon assets, and their on like the mines. But to say that the game suffers from sameness, it's like you've also hardly scratched the surface of the game.
And I'm already experiencing so much deja vu while walking past everything.
Because
I'm like, man, I've seen this guy before.
like every region from like this the Weeping Peninsula to Liurnia, up in the north here to Limgrave, Caelid, Altus Plateau, and the Flint mountaintop of the Giants and the Fire Mountain, and to all the way to the Erdtree, Lanedale Capital City, the Lava Mountain, and then what's it called? What's this last? Farmazula. They're all very unique and distinct areas.
Yeah, but that's like a palette swap. My point is, a lot of the like world, like, forget about the bosses for a second, because I think bosses, really fun, at least the first time you encounter them.
Yes.
I had a lot of fun fighting the Tree Sentinel. This is a good guy. It was a really fun boss fight. But like, once you get there, it's a palette. There's a new environment around you. Okay, that's all cool. When you're traveling the environment, are you telling me that it's not just broken forts, small castles, and camps? Because I would love to get out of this area where all it is, like when walking around the woods, is, oh, it's a broken down fort with a little staircase leading underground and a very easy boss fight.
As you also said, you have only been to like 3% of the map, and so yeah, like that section of the map, yeah, that's like where all that stuff is. Broken
all
down
that stuff's
forts,
in that one
like broken down forts, dungeons. Like yeah, there's still dungeons and crypts throughout the map, and there's a couple forts here and there, but it's like everything else, the entire landscape and how it's designed and how everything is designed changes as you go through the world.
I'm not worried about the landscape though. I'm saying that there's so much pointless stuff that I feel compelled to check out, because I don't know if it's going to be something important after all. That it just ends up being like a waste of my time. I wish I could explore more without coming across one of these things that you just came across, the ruins.
Okay.
And what the heck is that thing? Oh, I've actually fought one of those things. Never mind. Yeah. Like, that's what I mean. Like, the world's too full. Like, why is there a ruin here?
Well, because it gives something to do.
But
And
I'm not lacking things to do. There's too much to do. Also, There's no like non-hostile city in this world, is there?
Um, there's some areas that are not really hostile.
Well, like I
They're
mean,
they're
like
they're,
there's
they're
no
just
city that's
later
just.
on.
Is there like a city that's, or like at least a town that's kind of full of NPCs that just won't attack you?
Not there is a city actually of NPCs that won't attack you, or a town. But
Oh yeah.
but there's a boss at the end. Volcano Manor has is an entire let's the main area of Volcano Manor has NPCs that won't attack you, but as you dig deeper into it and uncover secrets, you do come across hallways with enemies that do attack you, along with the boss fight at the end.
Yeah, so
Um,
they're just like normal people that are just kind of like walking around there,
mhm.
and then like, okay, that's the kind of thing I want to come across because I don't want to fight everything that I find.
um, you're very like
At,
as a character in lore, you're very much in opposition to most of like what is in existence. I guess you could say.
yeah, I don't
Oh,
know what that means, but I'm just like, my problem isn't that the like if you met like a Satanist walking down the street, you wouldn't just shoot an arrow at him. You'd be like, wow, it's a Satanist. I should probably not talk to that guy. Like I feel like the world is just full of fighting's a very fun like combat in this game is super fun and is super
polished.
yeah, it's polished, it's uh what do you call it when like you need to be doing something? It's super active maybe,
Mhm.
invested, active invested combat. That I feel like you shouldn't just be going around fighting things every 3 seconds. You should be running around exploring the world and then you can come across some guys that you can fight.
Well,
And once you kill those guys, they'd be dead.
there's still like a lot of quest lines to do.
Well, that's not my point. My point is that it's
You're
almost like when you take something like the like Elden Ring does, and you get this combat, and you make it so wonderful, then it's almost like less is more with it. Like right, like if you have a little bit less combat, and that combat is like difficult boss fights and like occasional encounters rather than every 5 seconds I meet someone new that I have to kill, then that makes the combat more fun in the game. It's like, ooh, I get to do a
mhm.
little bit of exploring and a little bit of combat rather than exploring is combat.
Okay, yeah, because even in like quest lines, there is a lot of combat in between dialogue. Can this rat fuck off? Come on, there we go. Definitely, yeah. Combat is definitely very prominent, but and I
Like,
wish that there was more neutral NPCs.
yeah, that's all I'm at. Like, I just wish like I got to explore the world a little bit. Like, and I'm not even saying like the guys that are wandering the world, like those horseback guys that you keep encountering. I'm not saying that if you kill one of those guys, they should be dead. But like, if you clear out a fort like you're in right now,
Hmm.
like I feel like once you get back to that fort, it should just be empty because it was a fort that you cleared out.
I wish that I looted that chest in my first playthrough, because then I could have gotten two wing scythes. Because I didn't know that that was where that item was held. Now I only have one. When if I did
What is a
got
wing sai?
wing scythe,
What is it? Is it a type of sword?
it's just a weapon.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Basically, that's it.
Yeah.
Pretty cool weapon.
I have not found a weapon that's better than my starting sword yet.
Dude, if you just like look at my inventory, I even have duplicate items because of New Game Plus.
I found one weapon that I can use other than my starting sword in like some scenarios. It was like a weird axe cleaver thing,
Hmm.
and that thing only works when I'm fighting flying enemies.
See, that's strange because it's like Gabe has already found better weapons and and like a better full set of armor, and he's only level 27.
I'm not level 27. Not even close.
Oh, what level are you? Probably.
Assuming that I started at like 10,
Yeah.
because I was a samurai. Probably level 18.
Jeez. Okay, so you've hardly touched the game.
Well, where's Gabe in the game?
He's in the castle.
He's in the castle that I'm in.
Yeah.
It's not that I hardly touched it, because I'm in the same place in the game as he is. It's not that I've hardly touched the game. It's that I didn't know that you lost runes when you died. I was saving them up. And then when I finally went to go spend them, I had none. And I didn't know why until you casually brought up that you lost runes when you die.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was not explained in the tutorial to me. Which is funny, because that was the only part of the game that I didn't know. I lost. So I must have lost at least 5 levels because of that.
It's a very, like, how do you not notice that?
I wasn't paying attention. I was fighting the tree.
Your runes drop to 0, and then.
Well, it's not like there's a big message that says your runes drop to 0.
There's a giant icon on your compass that shows your death spot.
What is that? I didn't know that that's what that
where
meant.
you died, and like where you died, it shows a giant like glowing thing.
I thought that was a quest marker. And I remember picking those things up sometimes,
So
and I just thought they were like plants growing on the ground. Like you were harvesting materials.
The game can't account for ignorance all the time. It's one of those mechanics. It's like, yeah, you're gonna have to learn. You learn it. This game.
I'm upset because if I lost like 5 levels because of that, then I'm 5 levels behind where I should be.
5 levels is nothing. Like that's the thing is,
it is in the early game. I don't know what you mean.
Not really. It's like even in the early game, that's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And
if I had 5 levels, I'd be able to use spells, right?
I would say it is a problem.
What is that thing with the bell?
It's not a problem because this game is very consistent in how it doesn't hold your hand as a player.
I didn't ask it to hold my hand. I asked it to stop taking my stuff.
It's a penalty for death, which I think is fine. It's the same exact death system that's in Hollow Knight.
It's a similar death system. Oh, it is kind of the same.
It is.
My problem isn't that it's not holding your hand. My problem is that as a player, it's not obvious. Like it doesn't use common game language for it. Like I think it's fine
hold
for.
On. Oh my god!
I think it's fine for games to expect players to have a certain amount of like video game literacy.
That breaks immersion, if anything.
What do you mean?
Like, oh yeah, like a game telling you something. Breaks immersion.
I didn't say that. Yeah, I don't want it to tell you something. Well, but first of all, it does have a small like sort of introductory thing.
Yeah, it has a tutorial.
In the beginning.
Yeah, it has an optional tutorial.
Yeah, they're just the things that kind of pop up. I wouldn't call it an optional tutorial.
No, there's a full dedicated optional tutorial in the start of the cave before you leave, before you enter the open world.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Weird. But my point isn't that it doesn't hold your hand and say, okay, here's how you do this, and this is what you do. My point is that the game doesn't effectively use common video game language to show these things.
Why would it have to?
What are you talking about? Why would it have to?
It shouldn't have to. I would say it's a flaw in the game if that was the type of game that it was.
What do you mean that's the type of game that it was?
So for example,
what are you talking about right now?
It's consistent with itself in that this game doesn't really show you what to do. You learn through mistakes and through trial and error.
Except it shows you exactly what to do. Boss doors are covered in glowing yellow smoke. That like you
What does
learn
that tell
things.
you? Other
What do
than
you mean?
there's a
What does that
boss.
tell you? It tells you
Other
go
than that
here.
there's a boss ahead.
That's exactly what it. What do you mean? What does that tell you? This game is so obvious with things in other parts of the things that the rune system just isn't. Like, why is the runes a system of currency but also a system of leveling up?
I don't know. It's just a design choice.
Okay,
And I
fair
don't
enough.
see it being a problem. Like, it's not. Again, that's not really a problem with the game. That's just a design choice. And I think the game is pretty well balanced around it.
I didn't say that it was a problem with the game, but when you're introduced to runes, you're introduced to them as if they were, like, just currency. And then the next time you're shown what they do other than that is when you meet the girl. You know what I mean? So it's like when you're introduced to runes, you're really introduced to them more fully when you meet the first.
Yeah, the runes of power.
What do you mean?
When you can exchange your runes for power.
What does that mean? When do you exchange your runes for power? What do you mean?
That's what the girl tells you.
Yeah, no,
Melina.
but before then, that's you're kind of given two runes things. You're given runes as like a method of currency when you first meet the first merchant. You talk to him and he's like, "Hey, you sell me some stuff, I'll give you some runes, or you give me some runes, I'll sell you some stuff."
Yeah.
Okay, so they're the system of currency, but also they're the system of leveling up. That's fine. They're the system of doing basically everything in this game, except for some things, weirdly.
That's how it's always been in like every Souls game, where it's
Yeah, I'm not complaining about that. But my
currency and
my point is that the system figures out ways to effectively show you things without having to put it in your face and show you them because it's a good game. It fails to do that with the rune system.
I don't
Because
think
I know
think
you're
it's a
saying
problem. I don't think it's a problem at all, because I think
it
it's
was
very evident.
it frustrated me and it wasn't very evident.
Like, I mean, so you just weren't watching your runes. You weren't paying attention to your compass because you were so intrigued by a boss fight.
I don't pay attention to my runes now. Like, they're just kind of there, and when I die, I'm like, I better pick up that glowy yellow thing. And every once in a while, if I find a new race spot, I'll be like, maybe I should check my runes, see if I have enough to level up. But no, I don't pay attention to my runes. Of course I didn't, like, in the first level. I was having fun with the game.
Because I had already played like Dark Souls games before, so it's like
Yeah,
I already was familiar with the death system. Like I knew what to expect going into this game.
I'm not mad about it. Like, if I lose runes because I don't get to them in time, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
My problem is if I lose runes,
because you didn't get to them in time.
if I lose runes because I didn't know I lost runes, that's kind of odd.
That's on you, though. That's completely on you for not knowing that you lost runes.
How is it completely on? Like,
because your one currency system, your one number to keep track of, and you weren't.
No, it's not that I wasn't keeping track of it. It's that I didn't know I had to keep track of it.
Is that that's not the like how much should a game have to track for player ignorance?
It shouldn't have to track for. Well, first of all, like, what do you mean by that? Because
like how much ignorance does a game have to take into account before it just decides to
anything
maybe it's better
beyond common game logic. All right.
Okay.
If your game has a system where if you can press the L1 button 7 times, you get like a power up. The game shouldn't wait for you to figure that out on your own because that's a kind of a
So
weird thing. Press L1 7 times, you get a
hold on.
power up.
You say common game logic, but like this is the same system that like FromSoft has used in every game since Demon Souls nearly 20 years ago. And they're massively popular series.
What do you mean?
This has been their death system, where a single like rune system or soul system where it's currency and leveling up, and that's just how it's been
get off
since
the fact
Demon
that it's currency
Souls.
and leveling up, because sure,
And
right? Like currency is XP.
yeah,
I get it.
and this is the thing that you have to keep track of. Yes, that's how it's been since the release of Demon Souls. That's how it was in Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, Sekiro, Bloodborne, through all of the games that they have made to date, and now Elden Ring. And you say, like, oh, but it should be based off of common video game logic. Like, is it not common video game logic in this game series?
No, it's not. It's weird.
It's only not common
It's
logic to
something
you because
It's
you
something out
entered...
of the ordinary.
No, it's not common sense to you because this is your first Souls game. This you haven't played another game by this publisher. That's why
Okay,
it's
I'll
not
tell you
common.
what. I'll go back. I'll play Demon Souls, and I'll come back after I played all 3 Dark Souls games, and then Bloodborne, and then also Sekiro.
You're
I'll
gonna
come back and I'll be
hate
like,
that.
oh, I'll tell you what. This game is perfect in every single way.
No, this game is not.
Because I should have to play every single Call of Duty
No,
in order to come up to the newest Call of Duty and be like,
No.
oh, this game makes sense.
Elden Ring is actually probably the easiest Souls game that has been released.
No, that's not my point.
So
Like,
I mean,
even if you make a game, if you make 3 games in a series, and the 3rd game has the same weird controller setup where, I don't know, like,
they do have the
going
same
and
weird controller setup.
what do you mean?
all the Souls games have the same weird controller setup.
No, the controller setups in the Soul game is totally normal. Like, there's no reason for you to have to explain that. Except for maybe dodging. Dodging is something in the Souls games that you might have to somewhat show.
Mm-hmm. I believe
Which
that
it
they do
does.
show it, yeah, in the optional tutorial at the start of the game.
I don't remember any optional tutorial, but it does it anyway. Like, it's not like... It's like the game shouldn't have to explain to you that the joysticks help you move and look around.
Okay. So
But I think anything that's specific to a Souls game should have to be not with a pop-up explained to you, but like video game design says that you introduce something to help you learn a mechanic early. And Souls games do this. Alright, Souls games aren't stupid. Souls games don't throw you in saying, you already know. They say, here's something
they show
that'll
that
help you
with
learn
the
this
flasks.
mechanic.
Yeah,
Alright?
they show it the flask system that they have.
That's exactly what they do. The flask system is something that these Souls games also explain to you.
Even
pretty well.
though they're already in every other game.
But you're not introduced to runes really before you get to the open world.
I mean, did Hollow Knight explain coins to you? Like their coin
Yes.
system to you? I don't remember
Yes.
that.
Pretty easily, yeah. Because when you die and you go back to the place that you were, your thing's broken and there's a dead you trying to fight you. That's in your face saying this is what you do when you die. In Elden Ring, it's a little tiny thing on the compass and a pickup that looks exactly like all the other pickups in the game. It's not the same.
It does not look like every other pickup, but I do.
It
get
looks
what you
exactly the same as all the other flowers that you come across.
I very much disagree.
It's the same. Like, all the flowers look different from each other.
Yeah, they do.
But when you come off of it, it's kind of a glowy thing that says pick up.
Here,
There's nothing super special about it.
I'm gonna find a spot to die.
I
And
know what it looks like.
we're just gonna show it on stream about like so people can see just whatever the fuck you're talking about and how it doesn't look like any flower.
It doesn't look unique. I didn't say it looked like a flower. I said it looks like all the other pickups. There's nothing unique about it to say, hey, look, this is your loot, your death loot.
I think it's very unique and very distinguishable, even more so from past games, where it's just a green sphere on the ground. There we go. Oh, what do you know? It's actually like a little grace, like a guide, like a grace thing.
Yeah, it is. Dude, look at that. That's a little. Those are 3 little tiny saplings.
Surrounded by grace, the same icon the same animation effects for anything story related, like setting up bonfires.
Dude, that thing, if you die. First of all, also, maybe if you were in the mountains and you saw that thing, but think about the first area that you start off in the game. It's all grassland.
Mm-hmm.
That thing in a grassland with bushes and trees and wooden areas doesn't stand out any more than a flower.
I would very much disagree with that.
Well, there's nothing to disagree with. You're just wrong.
There's a couple really rare flowers, like maybe like the Trina's lilies or Michaela's lilies, and they are like pretty rare, and they have special effects on them. Or the glovewort too. But it's like those are all stuff that have very showy icons to show, hey, this item's rare. Come pick it up. It has value or significance.
Okay. What's your point?
It has a very drawing icon towards it, or animation around it. Like, it's hard to miss. And when
what
you
is the runes?
Yeah, you're dropped runes.
Oh, the runes are so easy to miss.
They're not though.
They really are.
They're more like way more visible than like normal pit or normal dropped items by enemies. Like they're one of the most visible drops things in the game.
No, they're maybe more visible than the average flower, but not by much. Really. Like if you're in a thing and then there's a glowy flower and a glowy yellow whatever, they're about the same. Like there's really not much of a difference. And I promise you now, because now we just, what the heck is that thing? We just, you know, you've been playing the game for a while, and whenever you die, you're like, okay, I want my runes back.
I'm usually
now you're
not
always
like
looking for that yellow.
I don't really look for my runes unless it's like a lot. But for most part, I don't care about runes because it's like I don't really. Leveling up is so expensive. It almost doesn't even matter.
My point is, in the game basically has the 3 mechanics that we talked about. There's a ton of other mechanics, but early mechanics that are specific to Souls games, or specific to this game at least. So we have the flasks, which are health pots, replenishable health pots that you replenish every time you die, and also mana pots. And then there's dodging, which is probably the most important thing. And then there's the rune system. Yeah?
Yeah.
All accessible to you in the early games. 2 of the 3 of those things are shown to players, not told with a big pop-up like you're implying that I'm saying, I'm not, are introduced to players in the cave. Not with a big flashy tutorial, but with normal gameplay. The runes aren't. Alright? And I didn't even lose that many runes, by the way. Alright? So I'm not saying it's horrible game design. I'm saying I'm pissed.
But about the tutorial, if you're wondering where that is, it's in the Stranded Graveyard at the start of the game. In like the opening room here. and if you talk to this NPC, it says, "Brave Tarnished, take the plunge of learning and remembrance.
Is that what that thing
Recall
said?
the arts of war in your
I
warrior's
jumped down
blood."
there. I didn't know that was a tutorial.
Yeah, if you drop down here, this is just the tutorial. And if you look, using items, press X to use items, down to shift items. You come to a remembrance, site of grace. We could actually kind of go through this and see how much they do
No,
cover.
I went through that before.
Rest camera, lock on. Think goes over attacks, sorceries and incantations, guarding, dodging.
It goes through parries when you meet the thing.
It goes through dodging.
Yes, I know it does.
Yeah, jump, dash.
And then there's the boss fight somewhere.
So that's way up ahead. Wielding armaments. I wonder if you die, like, if it goes into anything about that. Oh, they just don't attack. Oh, they do. I doubt he was gonna kill me though.
Now you're trying to break.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I just wonder if you die here, if there's like anything about that.
Maybe you would, but you'd have to die in the easy tutorial before the boss fight.
Yeah. I
Which would
wonder
be
though.
basically
I wonder if
impossible.
in the first death, if they do cover runes though. Maybe when the first
Like when
time
you die, first of all.
Yeah, in your
Like
first
to
death.
that crab thing.
Yeah,
I don't know why I keep calling it a crab thing. It's not
No.
a crab, but it looks
No,
like a crab
no,
from
no.
afar.
I know what you're talking about. The grafted scion. Not against him, but after him, your first death. I wonder if they talk about it. Because if they do, kind of invalidates your point.
You want to go back, restart the game, and see if you can
No,
die first.
no, I do not want to reset the game because then if any I have to play through the whole game again if I want to get any future DLC. But I wonder. I'll look it up. Does Elden Ring talk about runes? I don't know. Or actually, I can phrase that better. Does Elden Ring tell you that you need to grab runes?
How does Elden Ring show you about runes? Something like that?
I just got rune farming guides. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm doing a Google search about Elden Ring and runes, so yeah, I don't know. First off, door. One item that has constantly escaped my grasp that I've wondered how to get. I haven't looked up. Is the item up there?
Yeah, I Can you summon the horse in here?
No.
Hmm.
I don't know how to get it. Because you come out over there at the end of the tutorial.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's
So you have to go through the tutorial again and try to find a hidden door.
something like that. Probably.
I noticed that too. I was gonna do the entire tutorial again and try to find it.
Yeah, because there are a lot of secret doors in the game.
Which I don't know how do you open secret doors?
You just roll into them or hit them with a weapon.
Is there a secret door like in this area right here?
Not that I know of. But if you just run up to a wall and you hit it once, or you roll into a wall, then if there is one there. But half the time it's like there'll be like you'll see like 3 messages in front of the wall saying.
Yeah, there's one out there. There should be some out there, and I feel like someone was just trolling you, saying it was a secret door, with the messages.
Mhm.
But like, I feel like there were always messages in that starting little Coliseum room with the elevator, that said this is a secret door.
I do know of one in Volcano Manor though.
No, I get it. I get it. You just like you roll into the door, it opens. It was smoke the whole time. Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
But I just I don't know. Whenever I see people like saying, "Oh, there's a secret door here," I'm like, "Is there really though?"
It doesn't hurt to just test it out. Like, hit the door, see if it does.
This thing is at the beginning of the thing. Wow.
Yeah. I cleared this before my first playthrough. Not at level 1, because this is it has two.
Wow, this is a huge dungeon for like being right under where you first start.
Yeah, but you need a stone sword key to access it, and you're meant to come back later, honestly.
Stone sword keys aren't that hard to come across though.
Yeah, they're not. You can actually choose to start out with one.
But you can.
Yep.
I've never used any of them.
They're used to unlock dungeons.
Yeah, I kind of figured. I've come across those things. I just like, nah, not today.
I don't know what's in this room, though. I know that there's like an enemy here, but I never killed him. So I'm going to, really easily. Dragon Communion Seal. Oh, I'm getting hit. Then there's another boss in here. Well, I do want to see what the Dragon Communal Seal is. Is it? It's not a
I hate the
myth.
guys with the crossbows that just shoot you. We've been going for almost 2 hours at this point.
Do you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I think we should.
Okay. I think now would be a good time to wrap it up. So.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for watching. We just kind of rambled on about a few different things today, but it's whatever.
Yeah, mostly Elden Ring there at the end.
And I
guess
the middle. We'll see everyone next time. And next week, I believe we're doing Halo?
Yeah, we can do Halo.
Yeah.
I could not watch that full series. Did you? I know you did.
I haven't watched it all yet.
It was way too painful for me. I got pissed. Like, end of the first episode, Master Chief takes off his helmet, and I was pissed.
If that's was enough, it hurts me to watch it.
How long has Matt? I know we've technically seen Master Chief's face in game before.
No, we haven't.
Well, I thought there was like a secret like ending in one of the games where you got to see his face.
No, there's no ending. There's no.
Oh,
nothing.
Look it up. I could have sworn we have.
No, I've played each game several times. There is nobody knows Chief's face. That's part of the alert. In Halo 4, in the ending, I think the end of Halo 4 is his helmet comes off, but you can only see his eyes.
Oh, you can see his eyes? That's what it is.
Yeah. And we've seen Chief's face as a kid in official content released during like the Spartan training, but you've never seen his face as an adult.
You know, I want to make a show about Doom where the Doom guy literally says no words and you never see his face. The main character just faceless, voiceless. Maybe he grunts every now and again.
No voice to cry suffering.
Yeah. He's just totally silent. He grunts. You know? And just nothing. That'd be a good show.
So he'd be like
you'd have to have a character in the ear, like sort of like Cortana, that would actually be talking the whole time.
Yeah.
But it would mostly be like half-hour action segments with like that person in the ear being like, "Oh no, Doomslayer, you gotta kill the demon," and he'd be like, "Rah, rah, rah," and he'd kill the demon. I should be a writer. These are great ideas.
I don't know about that, but whatever.
All right, whatever you say. All right, yeah, but we should wrap this up.
Yeah, we should.
Halo next week, probably.
Yep.
All
So.
right.
Yeah.
Wait, does that thing roll right over you when you're rolling?
I just think it has a very sketchy dodge time. That's what it is.
Oh. Mm.
Right. We'll see
I see.
everyone